Hello and welcome to the Power of Healing Your Energy. The show is all about your light, your energy, and your healing. Depression and anxiety are a side effect of not living your life intuitively and not trusting your gut. The lost connections with self and others. Hello, fellow empaths. I'm Christine with 24 Karat Healing. I'm your spiritual medium, intuitive energy coach, and old soul healer. And this is episode 27, and it's all about the power of Marconics. And I have a very special guest, Jen Gagnon. And Jen is a certified holistic health coach who helps her clients become crystal clear on their desires, remove toxicity and blocks from all areas of their lives, and finally start living a life of freedom. And she combines her expertise in holistic health, mindset work, and energy healing to ensure her clients fully embody these shifts. Jen is a firm believer that in order to live your best life now, you need to align mind, body, and soul. Absolutely. She's certified through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, as well as certified Advanced Marconics Practitioner, trained by the founder herself, Alison David-Bird. And it's an energy healing modality. Marconics is a powerful energy healing modality that allows a patient to raise their vibrations above the frequency of fear that has shackled them to their story. And I highly resonate with the energy healing part. Welcome, Jen. Thank you. I'm going to make sure that everyone can hear you. There we go.
Hi.
Hello and welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And we are live. It is 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. It is episode 27. It is also January 22nd, 2020. So we're working with 27, which is a 9 energy. I love numbers. And this day is number 9 as well. So the synchronicity is pretty amazing. And 9s are all about wrapping things up. So we're kind of wrapping things up here, right? We're going to get aligned with our energy. Welcome. So I guess maybe tell us a little bit about you and I guess where you started and how you became a holistic health coach.
So my journey started about 8 years ago now. I'm a mom of 3, business owner, was living life, everything looked dandy on the outside. But I kept waking up feeling unhappy with who I was becoming, actually not really recognizing who I was anymore. I had lost myself in being a mom and being an employer and being all the titles. So I had kind of lost who I was. And so I thought that losing weight was my issue. After having 3 kiddos, I'd put on some weight. And so I started on a fitness journey. And so as I progressed, I was losing the weight. I was happy with it, but I still wasn't totally happy with myself. I still had that feeling of something's missing. And so I started deeping into personal development and reading books and still wasn't noticing, the shifts that I was hoping for. And then I realized,
it looks like, we have a little bit of
that.
Sorry, you had a little bit of lag in the video. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's okay. So I started putting into practice the things that I was reading, and I started seeing small shifts. And so the more I was focusing on implementing, the more shifts I was noticing. And then I came across an acquaintance of mine who had posted something on Facebook about Marconics. And I came from a background of zero knowledge about energy healing. Didn't even know what Reiki was. And so I saw her post and I just felt drawn to it and resonated to it. I contacted her, and this was in November of 2016. And 2 weeks later, I was meeting up with her for my Marconics recalibration. And when I had it done, it's funny because I really didn't comprehend half of what I was doing. I just had a knowing that this was something I needed to do. And so I went ahead and did it. And it kind of, the rest is history kind of. But I grew so much since then. Spiritually, I've found who I am, and every day I do my best to see this version of myself. And so along with that, the holistic side of things is ready for me. And as much as I love medicine when we need it, I've found, food is our medicine. I've learned that, when we fuel our bodies the proper way, we can live optimally and our bodies can function optimally. And so what I've come to find out and come to realize with all the courses I've taken, with the growth that I've experienced, with the awareness that I've gained, is that in order to really truly live my best life, I need to align mind, body, and soul. And I found that that's truth for everybody. When we're lacking in one area of our life, it inevitably affects another area. So when your mindset's off track, you're trying to lose weight and you just can't figure out why it's not working, but you keep sabotaging yourself without realizing it. When your mindset's in the dumps, you don't want to go work out. When you're not, spiritually fit, so to speak, and you're not taking care of yourself in that arena, then it affects your mindset. It's like everything's intertwined and interconnected. And until you actually realize that and come to a knowing that you need to work on every aspect of yourself as a whole, I think there's always going to be something lacking.
Well said. I mean, I when you talk about it, I think of balance. I mean,
yes.
Just, on the just teetering, whether, you're balancing on one leg or one arm, or just looking at the whole idea of balance and being present with yourself.
Yes, most definitely.
And loving who you are.
Yes.
I
in
think
this moment.
Yeah.
I think, is a big thing.
Yeah. Not what you think the outside sees. It's about your inside. And it's almost like a whole role reversal. I know when you mean journey. I totally get that. So I'm a Reiki master and teacher. So, I mean, I did a little bit of research on Marconics. What is the difference, I guess, for someone that's like, well, what are you I don't know what that means.
Marconics is, as the founder would say, there's a different horse for each course. So Marconics is a multidimensional energy healing modality, and it's an ascension modality. So the purpose is to reconnect to yourself at source and to be able to achieve ascension without having to come. So Marconics allows you to, depending on the protocol, to raise your vibration above the frequency of fear. And so the Marconic no-touch session is more of an ongoing therapy. And with every session, you raise your vibration. It gives you the opportunity to merge with higher aspects of yourself. It really is about you connecting to you and nothing else, and really stepping into your sovereignty.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And I mean, I have I don't know if you can see it, that little chart. You're talking about fear. It's like so, I mean, you just, it's based on the levels. And I guess some say how many chakras? Are we looking at chakras, or are these ascension levels? And what do you mean by ascension levels? I guess just kind of spell it out for folks that are, well, maybe new
higher
to this
levels
or
of
not
consciousness.
heard about
So, so also I'm going to preface this in saying that I'm not a representative of Marconics, but a practitioner, because, there are teachers that actually teach about this or give classes. I'm just a practitioner. And so
Gotcha. Okay.
What we mean in ascension is reaching higher levels of consciousness. You hear about 3D, which is in density in the physical realm.
Yes.
And reaching 6, 7, 8, outside of the matrix. And so without getting, into too many details, it's really about raising your level of consciousness and seeing where you can exist and sustain your energetic vibration and the bandwidth that you can access. And so for me, it's been, like I said, it's been quite a journey, because coming from a background of no knowledge whatsoever. It's been really fun to learn and see myself grow and see how my life's changed. Wayne Dyer said, and this is one of my favorite quotes, change the way you look at things and the things you look at will change. And the more you live by that quote, the more it's like aha moments, like,
yeah, and everybody gets,
it's realizing how at the same glass from different angles, and
okay, yeah, there were some parts where you kind of the video kind of stalled, I guess what you're saying, but I get it, and I totally love, like, Wayne Dyer. I always say he's like my dad from another dimension, even though he's not with us anymore, but he is still, I mean, I do talk to him. We have our own little private sessions, but just his voice alone is a meditation and is so relaxing and comforting. I don't know about you, but that's how I find him.
Yeah, I loved all of his work.
So also with the holistic health coach, I guess are you looking at a mind, body, soul experience when you're working with a client?
Yes, because I'm such a firm believer in really working in all areas. I take the women where they are and basically utilize the tool where they're going. I think it's important for them to always be okay where they're at, knowing that they're doing the best in the moment while striving to achieve something more. Because I think a lot of times most times we're our own worst enemy in the sense that we sabotage ourselves. We'll rip ourselves apart before anybody else can ever say anything to us. So really getting in the right space and working with women there to get them to where they're going, if that makes sense. So I always look at mindset, and then fitness and nutrition are big too, because if we have, we're not moving, if we're not fueling our bodies properly, we're creating blockages physically that will affect us mentally and emotionally. And so I really work with women to find what works for them, because that's another thing. There's so many, cookie cutter diets out there. You hear about the keto diet, the alkaline diet, the Atkins. So not everything's good for everybody, and anything that's good may not be good for everybody. So I really work with women to try and find what works for them and have them really tune into their bodies, because nobody's going to know better than they know for themselves. And so it's really about them learning and to feel fully, move mindfully. Not everybody has to go run, 5 miles a day. Somebody might just enjoy dancing in the living room, or, just really moving your body in a way that feels good for you. And then we work energetically, so it's really about combining all of those aspects and utilizing the tools that I have. And I always say, I'm not here to teach anybody my way. I want to teach you that I know have worked for myself and others. And now let's find how to tweak them just a little bit to make them work the best way they can for you.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I mean, very similar to how I work with my clients, depending on what we're doing. But and that, beating ourselves up and sabotaging ourselves is like a form of protection. As soon as you talked about that, I saw, I've got my shield up, and I'm all metaled up, and I'm going to go into battle with myself, because that's basically, that's how I see it. I mean, I was doing it as well. I totally resonate with that. So I just want to transition. I know we have some people watching. Please share this out. I want to know where everybody is from. If this is your first time, if this is on the replay as well, please say hello. We are highly interactive. Even after the show is over, if you have questions, myself or Jen, we will answer all of your questions. Or if you want to get in touch with Jen, I will leave all the links after the show, and you can get in touch with her as well. And I just want to let everybody know about a contest. The person who shares the most this week wins a 15-minute mini reading with me. And basically, I go the whole 360, your past, your present, your future. And it's kind of like a conversation we're having right now. So and a little bit of healing in there as well. But yes, please, we're highly interactive. Love to hear your take on energy healing. If you're familiar with Marconics, if you're not, do you have any questions about Marconics? Do you have, I guess right now, we talk about resolutions. We're still in January. I don't know about you, but do you make resolutions?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more of intentions, I think, is the way I put it. I spent so many years, making a list about a mile long of all the resolutions I was going to make. And fast and furious never really got me anywhere. So I've learned that slow and steady always wins the race. So, I focus on a few things. And then once those are, done and I've got them, under my belt, I kind of.
And I had a conversation with someone about intentions. I mean, I feel the same way. I used to do the whole resolutions, make the to-do list and drive myself crazy if I didn't meet them. Because we're our biggest critics, and we tend to base everything on our worthiness. Are we worthy of all this stuff? I always say take January, your time to figure out what your intentions are. There's no deadline. Because we had a Christmas hangover. That was a conversation. Christmas hangover. Funny. Yeah, because that's the whole idea. So, so I'm just, I guess, another question about take me through, how long do you typically work with somebody? Like, do you have different time frames?
I do. I have different time frames because I really want to serve as many women as possible. And I know not everybody, some people are at the beginning of their journey. Some people are a little further down the path. So I offer, one-off Marconic no-touch sessions, which can be done remotely. I work with clients one-on-one, so they can either do a 3-month or 6-month one-on-one coaching package. I'm actually working on a 6-week self-study program that will be probably ready sometime in February. I have a 30-day integrative detox program that's available. I have retreats that I run, and I also am launching in March the School of Bliss, which will be an 8-month program that combines one-on-one coaching, group coaching, in-person retreat. So it's kind of going to be the works. So there are different ways that I work with my clients.
Nice. And are they in person or do you do distance? I'm going to guess very similar to what I do.
Yeah, a lot is distance. The retreats are in person. If somebody's in my area, I can work with them in person. So it depends, where the people are coming from and what they're expecting and what their needs are.
Nice. And you're in, was it New Hampshire? No, we got a delay in the video there.
New Hampshire.
Yes, New Hampshire. Okay, I got that right. And Stephen is saying hello. Hi, Stephen. Please share this out. Thank you very much for joining us. Let us know if you have any questions. It seems, I guess, when you're working with clients, what would you say is a number one block?
I think self-confidence and trusting themselves is a big one. I think a lot of women don't trust their intuition. They don't really, and I speak from experience. I was always the one looking on the outside for the answers until I was able to really tap into my own energy and tap into what I was guiding myself to do. And it all came from, self-confidence or lack thereof, ego telling me that I couldn't possibly know better, that, So I think that is one of the main things that I run into in that. And I think we all have, to some extent, work to do on self-confidence. And sometimes you think you've mastered it, and then there's something, that kind of sneaks around the corner, and it gives you an opportunity to master it a little more.
True enough. I'm going to put you on the spot. What is your definition of confidence?
Showing up in your authenticity and integrity without fear. So speaking up when you need to, not, and I think being able to speak your truth without being afraid of hurting somebody else, however they perceive it is their trigger, is, coming from their background. So I think you need to be able to be in integrity with who you are.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And yeah, definitely working that I see solar plexus, that's your power center basically. Yeah, no, I get that. I definitely get that. I feel maybe a sense of responsibility as well. And like you said, looking on the outside, we play the blame game a little bit. So that has a lot to do, like we've given our power away to somebody else.
Yes. And that's the thing that I tell women, like, it's time to reclaim your power, take responsibility for your actions, for your feelings, for your words. And from there, that's, where you can grow and expand. It's, when you're expecting somebody else to hand it over on a silver platter, when you're expecting somebody else to make you feel good, when you're expecting somebody else to make you feel loved, it's like you're looking on the outside for everything that you need to be providing yourself on the inside.
Yes. And I tell, everyone, you were born perfectly. Where did you learn that you were not?
Yes.
Years of programming.
So many programmings. Yes.
And you get that loop and that tape, and hey, I've been there, and it's not hard to, as they say, jump on the crazy train and not get off. These are all acronyms for myself. I've learned a lot about myself, so I can make jokes about myself now. So I guess you mainly work with women. Is there like an age range or that you work with?
No, I have, clients that in their 20s, and I have some that are in their 60s. And I think there's no age to start working on yourself for yourself. It's always a good time to want to live your happiest and healthiest and most aligned life. So, yeah.
All right. I guess in a session, if it is distance, I guess, is there any meditation involved? Like, I guess, because some people, when they come online, I know this for a lot of my clients, that they're very nervous, or they're stressed, or they're in a panic, or they have anxiety or depression, right? So how do you work with that?
Most of the clients that I've had, I kind of, always give the information ahead of time, and we have a conversation before the session. So it's not something where we stay on the phone. It's something where we'll chat, talk about having water, how the session's going to go. Then we hang up. I run the session on my end. For them, they give me a call back so we can kind of discuss what happens. The thing with Marconics is it's not something that's governed by me or the practitioner. It's governed by the client's higher selves. And so I'm basically just the bridge for the energy. And so it's not something where you say, oh, my knee's bothering me, can you do something? It's really for the multidimensional body. And so the healing that will take place is governed by the client's higher self in that moment. And so from one session to the next, the experience is different, just because it's what is deemed appropriate and necessary in that moment for the client to receive. So, so far the client's main concern is, how do I know it's finished? And what I always tell them is, a time usually, give or take to run the session, but it may take you a little longer to finish receiving. So you'll know it's a knowing, and so far everybody, they're fine. They know, they give me a call back, and, but I understand the nervousness because myself, it's something where you're like, am I going to really know? But you do.
Yeah, true enough. It's about trusting. Just trust and be open. I always say, just come. People always like, what do I bring? I'm like, yourself and your open heart. Like just be open to the whole experience and just allow and trust. So more about that we got the mind part, we got the soul part, I guess the body part. What is there like a number one, you say just get moving your body. What would you recommend to someone that's like, well, I don't really like exercise?
Find anything, walking in nature, getting fresh air, dancing in the living room, I mean, there's so many ways that you can move your body that there's no excuse not to. And like I said, it doesn't have to be an hour, weightlifting session, but do something, move every single day. And even if it's taking 10 minutes, in the morning to go outside, if it's whatever it is, jump rope, just find something that you actually enjoy and do that. I think that people too often, we get caught up in the mobile devices, in our computer, we're working in the office. So, put some good music on and just move, even if it's just 10 minutes a day. And I always say, don't try to bite off more than you can chew. I know for myself, I was a very hot and heavy, then crash and burn type person. I'd work out for 2 hours for 2 weeks and then I wouldn't for a day. And then I would be like, oh my gosh, I just ruined it. I'll start again next week. So I always say, if you can only do 3 workouts a week, then focus on that and get those done. Don't try to do it all or nothing. There has to be a good medium. Again, balance. It's about really paying attention to how your body feels too and honoring that. So if your body's feeling really tired and rest is what it needs, then don't do that 3rd workout, but don't beat yourself up over it. Just next week, focus on those 3 workouts. So, and that's in everything that I do with my clients. It's always like, you don't have to do it all perfectly. Progress is always better than perfection every single day. And I'd rather see my client succeed at one thing that they're working on than try to do 10 and not do any of them well. I think it's not beneficial for anybody because it's like subconsciously we're telling ourselves we're failing, and we just keep repeating the cycle. Versus if you can celebrate every small win, then take yourself there and then move on to the next thing. And I think when we're celebrating ourselves and we're really focusing on all the wins that we're able to make, it's easier, and I think we're much more in a mindset of moving forward rather than, always falling short of our expectations.
And it's usually unrealistic expectations, like pie. Like I'm a world-class athlete starting tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And I think a lot of women forget too, it took time to get to the point where we're at when we decide that it's time to shift. So you can't flip your world upside down, in 24 hours and be doing it all right. And, it just doesn't work that way. And enjoying the process is another thing that I work really, really hard with my clients for, because I feel like when you're always set and your focus is only on the end game, I really think it's like enjoying, when you're eating mindfully, enjoy the foods that you're eating. It's not just about losing weight on the scale. It's really about, how much life are you gaining, when you're actually enjoying the foods that you're eating, because you're not eating them in 10 minutes because, you have to run to the next thing. When you're actually spending quality time with your family. Maybe you didn't spend 2 hours with them, but those 30 minutes you were there, So it's really about that. Journaling, same thing. Don't write down that you're going to journal for 30 minutes a day when you know that you can't. Instead, take 5 minutes, but be mindful about it. Be there when you're doing it. Feel the feelings. Don't say I'm grateful for 100 things you're going to list out just to do it. Say you're grateful for 5 things, but feel it and mean it and really feel it. That's my big thing. It's, it's not about the words. It's really about the feeling that's behind the words. It's about the frequency of the words,
The frequency. Yeah.
I say my gratitudes, and if I only say 5, I have goosebumps because I truly am deeply grateful for those things that are coming up for me. And I think that's huge, to stop trying to do so much that we rush through it, and we're rushing through life, really, trying to get to the next best thing. And it's kind of like, well, let's slow it down a notch and just really enjoy, because I think, bliss is like one of my words. It's like finding your bliss. And it's not about being blissful all the time and having a smile on your face permanently attached, right? It's really about being able to find blissful moments in every single day.
Yes.
And that might be me just closing my eyes and acknowledging that I'm starting to stress out and freak out, and take a step back and take a few deep breaths and realizing the power that I have to do that. It's about those small moments where I feel so grateful for the life that I'm living. Those are the moments of bliss that I talk about. And you can't do that if you're not present.
Yeah, oh, totally. Bliss is waking up.
Yes.
And bliss, small moments, like little things. Like I used to, when I started yoga in 2018, I was like, I'm going to do this yoga. Anyways, I can now sit cross-legged, like properly. It took me a year to do that. But did I beat myself up because I had to sit like the instructor did? Absolutely not. I was happy to be able to do that. And I'm on day 21 of 30 days of straight yoga. Awesome. That was something that I intended to do in January.
Yes. And seeing your body and what it's capable of doing as you progress, it's kind of like, you earn that inch, and it's paying attention to that. Like you said, it's not beating yourself up about, oh, I can't do it now. It's really about how much are you gaining every time you're consistent with something. A lot of my clients are like, I can't meditate. And I know where they're coming from, because the first time I try to meditate, I'm like, what the, I couldn't sit for a full minute because my mind was just all over the place. And again, it's about slow and steady. If you can only do 10 seconds of focusing on your breath, then do that.
Yeah.
And honor yourself and celebrate yourself for that, and then move up from there. So I really do think that it's about taking it slow and steady and really focusing on the small gains, because that's one thing that I think it was last year, was kind of like I finally looked back, because as you're doing this, you don't realize like the amplitude of it, I think. And then one day I looked back and I'm like, wow, I really did come really far. You take all those little breadcrumbs and, they actually add up.
Yeah, we tend to, like I said, have a Teflon for the good and Velcro for the bad. Remember all the good stuff and actually take an inventory. I do that in December every year. Write down all the things that all the stuff, all the blissful, wonderful things that happened, even if it's, to maybe it's something small or something, who cares? Take all the wins and celebrate. We don't celebrate enough.
No, but we're really good at pounding on ourselves the minute, we veer off path a little bit, right?
Yeah. So it's time to, just love ourselves more unconditionally, forgiveness for others and for self as well. And all those former perfectionists, including myself, we're good. It's all good.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, I'm sure I'm going to have more questions on the replay like I tend to have. It seems, we've got a couple people watching, but not a lot of interaction, which is completely fine. This show and podcast is for when, the universe sends it to you when you need it. That's how it works.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to let ego get in there, but I'm just putting one more call out. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask anything about your energy, your career, your life, your health, the whole 360, mind, body, and soul. Let us know. Otherwise, I am going to wrap this up. So I'm going to give you, we have all the links for Facebook and Instagram, but I just want tell everybody what you're working on, what you have coming up.
So at the beginning of February, I have another round of my 30-day integrative detox starting. That's basically 30 days. And again, it's all about mind, body, soul. So we go through detox, remove blocks, release things that no longer serve us, and create space for all it does. And I also have a retreat coming up in June in Quebec, Canada. And the ladies who sign up before January 30th actually get in to the 30-day detox for free. Nice. And they get a one-on-one coaching call with me. The retreat is a 4-day all-inclusive. It's an extremely transformational weekend. I hosted this retreat last year, and it was amazing. In the countryside of Quebec, settled in nature, horseback riding, meditations, yoga, energy healing, workshops, the works. So if anybody wants to hear more about that, they can certainly contact me either via email. They can drop a message here in the comments. Yeah.
All right. Well, it was wonderful to get to know you more about what you do and your holistic health coaching and Marconics as well. And I want to wish everyone a beautiful week. And if this show resonates, please share this with your friends and your family. Maybe someone you know is struggling and could really, receive this message. And if you're on the replay, please say hello. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. We will get back to you. We promise. And hey, guys, I want to wish everyone love, light, and blessings. And please remember, healing begins where the ego ends. Thanks so much, Jen, for your time.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody.